What if the reason that you're tired isn't because you're doing too much, but because you're doing too much without the right systems? Success without systems isn't. I messed that up. Success without systems is stress and a nice outfit. Welcome, y'all, to MINDSHiFT Monday, Season 2, where we don't chase hype, we build alignment. I'm Robert Kennedy III, RK3, that's me, and this episode is for the builders, the leaders, the creatives, anyone who's tired of winning seasons that cost them their peace. Oh my goodness, TT Train 6987, so glad that you are here. I'm glad that you're in the building, in the space, in the place, looking at my face. Yeah, so glad that y'all are here. Oh my goodness, it is 2026, y'all. It's 2026. You want to know when we're going live? Text live to 240-557-8679. Live to 240-557-8679. After the show, hang out with us for the level up. Go to mindshiftmonday.com/Zoom. Let me say what's up to some people that are in the space. Oh my goodness, we're not working properly on Instagram this morning. Way to start out the new year. That's all right. TT Train, so good to see you. Chad, so good to see you. Those are the rest of you that are in here. Come on. Twyla Grigsby, so good to see you this morning. All right. Hey, we've got a couple of things coming up soon, and I want to make you aware of them. Next week on January 13th, 3 p.m., we've got Lights Camera Connection with our strategic partner, Graphy. Make sure that you join us. Capture, screenshot the QR code, and then head on over to the link to get registered for that Lights Camera Connection, how live streaming helps you build a brand. And then on the 22nd of this month, we've got Why Smart Professionals Still Get Ignored in Meetings. We haven't set up the registration for that yet, but DM me if you want the information for that. Damon Stinger, so good to see you this morning. C. Marie B, so glad that y'all are here. Y'all ready to go? Let's do this thing. Let's get started. All right, come on. Yeah. All right. We are back in the space and in the place. Motivation comes and goes, y'all, but systems show up on the days that you don't. Yeah. Let's ask a question. I want to start with a question this morning. Drop in the chat. Where do you feel the most friction right now? Money, relationships, or your mindset? Where do you feel the most friction right now? Money, relationships, or your mindset? Drop that in the chat for me. Yeah, let's start with that this morning. Early in my career, I thought that success meant saying yes to everything. Yeah. As I started out my business, and business was beginning to grow, I didn't want to miss out on opportunities. So if I could do it, I did it. I said yes. And I was told that that's how you build business. Busyness. that makes sense, right? That makes sense. Yeah. More gigs, more opportunities, more motion. Just saying yes. Robert, can you speak for this? Yep. Robert, can you speak for this? It's only $250. Yep, I can do that. Robert, can you speak for this? It's free. It's pro bono, but there's exposure. Yep, I can do that. That's how you build business, right? Until the times when I didn't have business. I would go, I don't know if this is y'all, but I would go through this cycle. I mean, Damon Stinger, you know what I'm talking about here. I would go through this cycle. Super busy at certain times of the year. The money is flowing in. We are partay in. We're living the life, right? We're doing the thing. And then OMG, nothing's happening. No one's checking email. No one's answering their phones. All right, C. Marie's like, nope, I don't know what that means, dude. I have never experienced that. Yeah, no one's answering their phones. Business is dead, feast or famine. And during the famine part of the cycle, it was rough. It was rough. And I would try to make up a course or a challenge or something to get cash in it. Usually it was a low-cost item, and I would work really hard to make it happen. And the result would be not a whole lot. And then I would get annoyed that I worked so hard for such a small result. What was missing? What was missing? What didn't I have? What didn't I have? Alethea Housen Fortner saying, I had a season of saying yes to it all as well. Yeah. Hey, my buddy, Gary Graham from NYC DMV. Yes. Yeah. So I had the season of ups and downs, feast and famine, money coming in, going right back out. And some stuff was not working how I wanted it to. My kids told me I was always in the office. They would say, yeah, daddy works hard. And that's not a bad thing. But sometimes when they said it, it would like, hit me right here. Right? Spiritually and mentally in these seasons, man, I'm at church, I'm leading praise and worship, I'm smiling, I'm looking like everything is okay on the outside, but internally, I'm running on fumes. And I'm wondering why I can't get it together, why I can't get sustainability, why we're going through these ups and downs, and those downs are really hard. Why couldn't I work hard enough? I needed more energy. But here's what began to make a difference for me. Here's what began to make a difference. I made a decision to say no. I made a decision to say no. And it started with setting aside Mondays as my strategy day, my strategic day, and saying no to most speaking opportunities on Mondays. Now, listen, in the beginning, when the first time that I said no, the first time that I did that, I was like, oh my gosh, what on earth am I doing? That's like cash money. That's cold hard. How dare me, who needs money, say no to money? How dare I, who needed an infusion in my bank account, say no to an opportunity to speak on a Monday, to do a workshop on a Monday? But I'll tell y'all that decision to begin saying no was one of the best things that I did. I needed the opportunity to create. I needed the opportunity to strategize. I needed the opportunity to plan and review and connect with my team in a consistent way. What was happening? What was happening? It wasn't that I wasn't. It wasn't that I wasn't failing at things, right? It wasn't only that I was just not doing well or not consistent in some areas. The issue for me was that I was unsystemized. I didn't have a system for success, and I was running according to everybody else's schedule. Robert, come speak for us this day. Okay, yeah. Okay, Robert, come do this. Yeah, okay, yeah. Robert, come. Okay, yeah. And I didn't know that it was okay to say no. I mean, listen, I know it's the beginning of the year, but do you all ever feel like that? Like you're running according to everybody else's schedule? Come on, talk to me in the chat. Gary Graham's like, Monday's a pivotal day for me. My admin day also. Yeah. Right? That's what we're walking through today. We're walking through systems. In fact, that is my word of the year, systems. That's my word of the year for 2026. Every year I choose a word that guides me and creates focus for me throughout the year. This year, my word is systems. I had, what was my word last year? God-sized. Before, I had words like resilient. This year, my word is systems. Right? Why am I choosing, or why did I choose that word? Well, listen, if I have ideas, if I want to scale, if I want to get to a certain place, if I want to grow in a certain way, I only have a certain capacity on my own. My arms can only stretch so long by themselves. I've only got 2 of them. There's only so much that I can do randomly. There's only so much that I can do on the spur of the moment. There's only so much that I can do based on my talent. There's only so much that I can do based on my creativity and my ideas. In order for growth to take place, in order for scale to take place, I need to invest time in systems. Success doesn't scale without systems. Right? And so here's the trap. Most people build goals, right? They build goals, but they never build the systems to hold those goals. And what they rely on is motivation, right? We rely on motivation instead of structure. We rely on memory instead of process. We rely on hustle instead of health. And when you do that, that is how the burnout, Gary Graham, sneaks in. That is how burnout sneaks in. So I want to talk to you about 3 systems that you need for sustainable success in life and business. All right? I love what Alethea is saying here. Establishing a routine. Ooh, when newly self-employed was a challenge. Yeah. So let's talk about systems for a little bit. System number 1, and I did not include my graphic here. I should have had it on the side here because I didn't have my system locked in to get it done at the end of the week. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the systems. System number 1. What is your financial system? What is your financial system for success? How do you set money in motion? I've got something to say, but I want to come to Latanya's question. How do you distinguish the difference between system and structure? We'll get to that in just a little bit. Stay around. We're going to talk about it. All right. How do you set? So let's talk about the financial system. What is your financial system? How do you set your money in motion and allow it to create with you and for you? This is in your business life and your personal life. I'm not a money person. I'm not a money expert. As a matter of fact, I have a love-hate relationship with money. I'm not a P&L, profit and loss, balance sheet fan. And for a while, I would just glaze over when the discussion came up. As a matter of fact, I knew it was necessary, but I would avoid it because I felt overwhelmed by it. Like I never had enough to make it worth my while, right? Like budgeting and money and counting money is something that rich people do. 1 + 0 is still 1. What do I need to count for? Right? And so for a long time, I avoided it. I kept the 1 instead of strategizing where to multiply the 1 so it could become more. I skipped the strategy and the system, and so I stayed the same. So what system do you need to employ or put in place? Now, money is a big issue. Money is a big part of how life works. And if you are already overwhelmed by money, If you're already overwhelmed by finances, then Robert coming in and saying, hey, you need a financial system might be even more overwhelming for you. So here's what I want to suggest. I want to suggest starting out with something simple, starting out with a 30-minute weekly money check-in. What came in? What went out? What's coming next week? What came in? What went out? What's coming next week? And now, I know in the beginning, early on, especially if you're in business and you're an entrepreneur and it's not coming in, the answer is going to be the same for quite a few weeks. You're going to be like, okay, what came in this week? $5. What went out? $4. What's coming in next week? What's coming out next? What's coming in next week? $0. Okay, so now how much do I have? I got $1. What's coming out next week? $4. Right? So now I'm behind $3. Oh Lord. Right? In the beginning, that's probably how it's going to be. But the fact that you're constantly checking it, the fact that you have a system that causes you to consistently review it, causes you to now become, I don't want to use the word comfortable, but you come to view it as a part of the process of your growth. Right? So your system for your finance might start out with simply setting up and adding it to your calendar, a 30-minute weekly money check-in. What came in, what went out, what's coming in. And then after that, what is one intentional decision that you can make for your money? Make it a game. Listen, one of the things that I'm learning is when I am doing things that I am not a big fan of or not the most fun things in the world for me, I try to figure out how to gamify it. How do I make it something that is a game for myself? And that might be simply seeing how many days in a row I can check something. It might simply be, okay, how can I get it over a certain level? Morning, Stephanie. Morning, Dr. Lorenda. How are you all doing? So glad that you're here. Right? The more that you can create a game around it, the more that you can lower the temperature on items, ideas, elements that have to happen in your life anyway, this turns money from stress into strategy. Right? You want to create attention in a specific place. And when you create attention in that specific place, that's typically where your growth begins to happen. Okay, so system number one that I want you to look at and create in your space, in your life in 26 is your financial system. System number two, all right, we don't have a lot of time. System number two, I want you to develop a relationship system. What is your relationship rhythm? I learned too late in my life that relationships are currency. And when relationships are accidental, you tend to isolate. I know that I do. That doesn't mean that you go into a corner and hide, right? Necessarily. What it may mean is that you try to take on more work than necessary. It may mean that you get in the weeds more than necessary. It may mean that you tend to get hyper-focused on only one way of doing things and not achieving the result that you want. I used to listen to Glenn Lundy. He used to do a show at 5 a.m. every morning during the pandemic. And one of the things he talked about was sending an encouraging text to 5 people every day at the beginning of his day. 5 people, clients, friends, family members, new connections, right? Sending a text message, one quick line, sending a text message to 5 people. What does that do? It creates connection with people, but it also forces you to think about people. Like, who have I not reached out to or touched bases with recently? Right? So sending a text message to 5 people really quick Hey, happy New Year, happy 2026. Just thinking about you, wishing you the best today. Hey there, Robert. How are you doing? I thought about you this morning. I know that today is going to be an amazing day for you. Be blessed, whatever it is. All right, I got a friend, Ramon Ray, who every so often just sends a message, a voice message, or an audio text and says things like, "Hey, Robert, listen, just thank you for being the amazing human that you are." My gosh, I'm feeling good. Right? So relationship rhythm or relationship capital is a system that I want to encourage you to develop in 2026 if you've not done that yet. Wake up early. If you think that you're going to forget, schedule the texts. Make it a part of your system. Make it a part of your rhythm. And we're going to get deeper into that in just a moment. All right? Create a relationship rhythm, one intentional touch point weekly. Who are you going to call, have coffee with, check in with? One protected relationship block on your calendar. There's a block on your calendar for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes where you're saying, listen, I'm just going to reach out to people for this time. Okay? It's not a to-do. It's not a task. It is a system that you've put in place because you've blocked it. Okay? One honest conversation per month. Listen, relationships don't thrive on intention alone. I intended to. Oh my gosh, I was supposed to call you. Relationships thrive on systems and structure. All right. So to answer the question that somebody asked, what is the difference between systems and structure? Okay. So structure is the framework, the idea. Okay. A system is the elements that you put together, then you kick it off and you make it work. Right? So the two systems so far that we talked about that you need a financial system, you need a relationship system, and then your third system, last system that we'll talk about today, is your spiritual and well-being and mental well-being system. What is your system that you use for that? You have a daily reset window. Not a retreat. I talk about a retreat. I talk about doing a personal retreat every quarter. But what's your daily reset window? Not an hour, not a retreat. It's just a 15-minute daily reset. What can you do in 15 minutes? 5 minutes of stillness, just being with you or prayer. Set a timer and just close your eyes and breathe for 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes of reflection and journaling. 5 minutes of stillness, 5 minutes of reflection or journaling, and then 5 minutes of planning for the day. 5 minutes, what is my intention for the day? How am I going to show up for today? What are the 3 most important things for me to accomplish today? That is a system. You do that every morning. You put that on your calendar. That is something that you do at the beginning of the day. And this grounds you before the world pulls at you. Right? I don't know who said this, but I've heard peace isn't found, it's practiced. Right? Peace is not found, it's practiced. And so I've shared with you habits to form, but I want you to pay attention to the word systems. What's the difference between a system and a habit? A habit is an individual action that I perform repeatedly. I brush my teeth. That is a habit every day. That is a habit. I walk with my wife. That is a habit. I exercise every morning. That is a habit. A system is a connected group of actions or elements that work together to achieve a result. So if I use the exercise as an example, what is my system for exercise? Well, that starts with putting out my clothes the night before, and then making sure that I have it on my calendar, and then making sure that there's a reminder that pops up on my phone at a certain time that says it's exercise time. Okay? Those are several elements that are put together to create a system to ensure that I exercise. What are the systems that you have in place? What are some things that you've put together? I think James Clear, I don't remember if it's James Clear or who it was, but they called us habit stacking, right? When you stack certain habits together, when you put things that you want to do back to back, when you put connected things back to back to back to back, you then create a system that ensures that you achieve that action or activity. All right. If I want to be healthy, okay, yep, I eat. But if I'm doing intermittent fasting, I make sure that I've got a system that says, okay, yep, my intermittent fast begins at this time, ends at this time. I've got somebody that calls me or texts me, or I've got an alarm that goes off at a specific time to remind me to do that. And then once that happens, the next thing, it's kind of like the Rube Goldberg. Look up the name Rube Goldberg. Right? When I was a kid, I used to watch Tom and Jerry, and oh my gosh, we got like 3 minutes before the show ends here, and we still haven't gotten to our transformation actions. But there used to be this thing that this like a trap that Tom would build, and it would be like a ball rolled down a seesaw, and the seesaw popped up something else, and a balloon went up, and the balloon hits this water can, and the can throws water down, and the water drops onto a scale, and then the scale pops something up. And all of that is a system designed to create a certain action or achieve a certain result. So let's go. As you think about your week, how can you build systems instead of a to-do list? What actions does it make sense to block together, right? My strategy day that I talked about is a system that I've built to make sure that my planning and execution happens in a certain way. I start in the morning with the MINDSHiFT Monday, and then I do the 8 o'clock show or the 8 o'clock after show with our group after that. And then I meet with my team. And then, so there's a system that happens every week. It happens weekly. And there are certain items that happen on repeat inside of these days, right? I've got a weekly financial meeting and a monthly financial review that are part of a system of financial oversight that we're continuing to build, right? So I want you to think about it this way. If I push harder, your old belief is if I push harder, I'll succeed. But let's go mind shift. Your new belief is if I build systems, I'll last. So let's walk through these 3 systems, these 3 actions really quickly. We've got about 60 seconds to do this. Okay. So I want you to perform an audit. What system is missing or weak right now? Is my financial system weak or missing? Is my relationship system weak or missing? Is my spiritual and mental well-being system missing or weak right now? Audit that. And those are only 3 systems. There are other systems that you may be able to find or think about. But be real, be vulnerable, be honest with yourself. What system is missing or weak? Then choose this week a system that you're going to build out. Okay, choose one system that you're going to install and build out this week. When I say build out, it means taking some time, sitting down and writing it down and deciding what are you going to build out? Not just one item inside of it. What is the system? What are the 5 steps that you're going to create? Okay, what are the 5 steps that you're going to create to make sure that this goes? And then lastly, protect it. Put it on your calendar like it matters, because it does. Because it does. Okay, audit it, install it, and then protect it. Listen, y'all, if this hit you between the eyes, all right, join me in the after show. We'll talk a little bit more about systems and breaking those down and helping you choose the one that you need most right now. Join me by going to MINDShiftMonday.com/Zoom. We're going to get started with the after show in just about 60 seconds or less. Yeah. All right. Yo, listen, ambition gets you started. Systems keep you standing. At some point, you realize that your life doesn't rise to your intentions. It settles into your systems. The days that you feel grounded, clear, and effective aren't accidental. They're systems. Those are supported. And the days that you feel scattered or drained are not just failures. They're signals. They are signals that your personal systems are not in place. And remember, systems aren't about control. They're about care. They're about how you protect your energy, steward your purpose, and make success sustainable instead of seasonal. As James Clear reminds us, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your system. So if you want a better life, a stronger business, a healthier mind, don't just set bigger goals, build better systems to hold the life that you're becoming. Join me for the after show at 8. Go to MINDSHiFTMonday.com/Zoom, where we'll talk about a little bit more systems. Hey, y'all, don't forget to join me on January 13th for Lights Camera Connection with my strategic partner, Graphy. Make sure that you screenshot the QR code on the screen, and then visit the link so that you can register. And if you are a busy corporate leader or professional, DM me to ask me on LinkedIn about our upcoming workshop, our upcoming public workshop, Why Smart Professionals Still Get Ignored in Meetings. Listen, y'all, until the next time, build wisely, lead sustainably, and keep shifting your mindset so that you can shift your life. Peace, family. Thank you, Alethea. Thank you, Misty. Thank you, Stephanie. Oh, let's go. I'll see y'all in the after show. Peace.